senior PM I know, 18 years of experience, led launches at two Fortune 500 companies, told me 8 months ago that she hadn't taken a real vacation. Now, it's not because of her workload, because she was scared that if she stepped away for a week, she'd come back obsolete. Now, that hit me really hard because she's not wrong that things are moving fast, but she is wrong that the answer is to run even faster. Now, today, I want to give you a 3-part routine that keeps you sharp in the AI era without running yourself into the ground. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works with real examples. No hypotheticals, real scenarios you're probably already living. Okay, let's give this thing a name. Let's call it what it is, AI burnout. Now, it's not a traditional burnout. You're not really disengaged. You're actually too engaged, consuming constantly and somehow feeling more behind every passing week. It shows up in 3 ways. I want you to see if any of these are symptoms you are observing. Number one, tool fatigue. Tool fatigue is when you've signed up for 9 tools and you actively use 2. The other 7 are open tabs that make you feel guilty every time you see them. Second, relevance anxiety. Relevance anxiety is the small jolt of panic, not excitement, panic. Every time a new model drops, you think, hey, do I need to learn this? What if my team adopts it and I'm the last one to know what happens in that case? Number 3, identity drift. Now, identity drift is the quiet one. You've been so focused on what to learn that you've lost clarity on what you deliver, on what makes you the person others call when something really important needs to get done. So here's the thing. All 3 of these have the same root cause. You're trying to keep up with AI like it's a newsfeed, and you cannot win that game. Nobody can, because the feed never ends. I've been through 4 technology disruptions in 25 years. Software, SaaS, mobile, AI. Every single one of them came with its own version of the same collective panic. And in every single one, the pattern was identical. People who burned out, they tried to learn everything. And people who thrived, they filtered ruthlessly. Let me give you a personal story. When I was leading AI transformation at Amazon, working on agentic AI products that eventually reached millions of sellers globally, my team faced this exact moment. It was early 2023, new tools were dropping every week. Every team wanted to integrate into our AI capabilities, and my team was getting pulled in 15 different directions. People were excited, but they were also completely scattered. So we made one decision that changed everything. We said we will only evaluate tools that have a direct line to one of the 3 specific customer outcomes that we've committed to. That's it. One filter, a simple filter. And we went from considering 12 to 15 tools per month to 2 or 3. And our actual experimentation quality went up. Our productivity, and I'm not exaggerating, it went up tenfold. Not because we adopted more, because we stopped adopting randomly. The goal is never to know every single tool. The goal is to know which tools matter to your outcomes. The distinction right there is the entire ballgame. Okay, here's the framework. 3 practices, none of them will take more than 25 minutes combined per week. Okay? Practice number 1, the weekly anchor. Now, every Monday morning, before you open LinkedIn, before you open your newsletter stack, you ask yourself one question. What would make me measurably better at fill in the blanks of your core outcome this week? Not what's new in AI, not what should I be learning, specifically, what would move the needle on the thing that you actually deliver? So let me show you an example of how this works in practice. Let's take the first example of a product manager. Let's say you are a senior product manager. Your core outcome is shipping decisions that your engineering and design teams can execute on, cleanly without constant back and forth. Okay. So your Monday anchor question might be, what would help me write clearer PRDs this week? Now you have a filter. Every AI tool, every article, every tutorial you encounter this week, you ask, does this help me write clearer PRDs? If yes, you look at it. If no, you skip it. Not forever, but for this week, at least you skip it. Okay, let's take another example. You're a sales director, and your core outcome is that your team closes qualified leads faster with less pipeline slippage. Okay. So your anchor question may be, what would help my team have better discovery conversations? Okay. Now that's your lens. Anything about AI for sales prospecting may be relevant, but anything about AI image generation, not this week. The weekly anchor doesn't limit your learning, it focuses it. And focus is what prevents burnout. Okay, practice number two, the 20-minute experiment. This is where most people go wrong. They confuse learning about something with learning how to use something. So they'll watch a 4-hour course on prompt engineering and never once write a prompt on a real problem they're actually facing. So here's what I want you to do instead. Pick one thing this week, connect it to your anchor. Okay, that's important. Connect it to your anchor and try it on a real work problem. Not a tutorial, not a sandbox exercise, your actual work. Let's take a couple of examples. So, as a product manager, your objective was clearer PRDs. So, your experiment is take your next PRD and try drafting the success metrics section using an AI tool. Just that section, 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be revolutionary. You just need one real data point from one real attempt. That's it. So, what happens? Maybe the output is 80% usable and you say 45 minutes. And maybe it completely misses the context and you rewrite the whole thing. But now you know why it missed, which makes your next prompt better. So either way, you learned something real, not something theoretical. Let's go back to our sales director. So your objective was better discovery conversations. So your experiment could be take last 3 lost deals and ask an AI tool to identify patterns in why they stalled. You know, what common questions came up? What questions weren't asked? 20 minutes, real data, real insight. One messy real world experiment beats 10 hours of structured curriculum every single time. Okay, practice number three, the Friday filter. So, 5 minutes, Friday afternoon, before you close your laptop, two questions. What actually moved the needle this week? What am I still carrying that I should put down? The second question is the more important one. Now, most of us are excellent at adding to our learning list. We are terrible at explicitly removing things. As an example, let's say you've had learn autogen for multi-agent workflows on your list for 6 weeks. You haven't touched it. Every Friday you carry it forward. Now the Friday filter asks, is this actually connected to an outcome that I'm working towards right now? If not, just drop it and put it in a revisit later note if you want to. But get it off your active list. The professionals I've watched thrive under pressure are not the ones with the longest learning lists. They are the ones who know what to stop doing. Clarity comes from subtraction, not addition. Remember that. So, here is what I really want to leave you with. AI is not a sprint, it's not a marathon either. It's the new operating environment. And you don't win an operating environment by exhausting yourself into it. You win by learning to operate within it sustainably. I've watched this play out across 4 technology transitions. The professionals who are still thriving 10 years after a disruption, they're not the ones who worked hardest at the moment of change. They are the ones who made consistently good decisions week after week without burning themselves out. Sustainability beats optimization, always. So that PM I told you about at the beginning, she tried this routine for 3 weeks. Then she took a 5 day vacation, her first in nearly a year. She came back and told me, nothing critical happened while I was gone, and I finally feel like I can actually think again. Now that's the win. Not knowing every tool, not being the most up to date person in the room, but thinking clearly, deciding well, and delivering outcomes. That's what makes you irreplaceable, not to AI, but to the people and organizations you work with. Okay, so here is your homework for this week. Before you open anything tomorrow morning, write down your weekly anchor question. Finish this sentence. What would make me measurably better at fill in the blanks this week? That's it. Just one question. See what it does to how you read your feed. If this framing landed for you, there's a lot more where this came from. I've been building a whole body of work around what I call the unautomatable professional. The idea that career resilience in the AI era isn't about tool adoption, it's about identity and positioning. So, links in the description if you want to go deeper. And I genuinely want to know what's your weekly anchor question this week. Drop it in the comments. I read every single comment, and I'll see you guys next week.